Hello and welcome to the pre-show of the daily Godless Engineer live stream here on the page. Today, while I'm actually setting up everything, getting it ready to getting it ready to actually go live because apparently it takes a second for it to actually fucking load, and my voice keeps reverberating and shit. Thanks, Facebook. Way to go with doing your live stream there. But the topic that I want to talk about for the pre-show today is Johnny Depp. You know, Johnny Depp, he's a pretty big, influential person that was supposed to be speaking at the Reason rally, but he's not actually going to be speaking at the Reason rally. He has canceled, which kind of sucks. It would have been nice to hear him talk about his secularism or his atheism, however he wants to identify his beliefs and knowledge on the subject. But I really wish Reason Rally would have some, YouTube personalities up there. I know a lot of the big name YouTube personalities don't want to, do that kind of thing, but I think that they could find some pretty prominent ones. Like, I'm pretty sure Dark Matter would probably get up there and do a speaking thing, or possibly Meridian Faust. Since they have that whole SJW kind of code of conduct, at least it sounds like it. I don't agree with harassment of people's, but the way they've worded it has got me a little unsure. I don't know how that's going to be enforced. I'm just going to have to actually experience it, and I suggest you guys experience it too. If you guys are going to be at the Reason Rally, I want you to let me know down below. And I have not been setting up the stream this entire time that I've been talking. Let's see. We're talking about a doctor today. Public accommodation. I don't know how to fucking spell. Business turns away atheists. Yeah, that'll get it. And I don't know how to spell fucking business either. I'm such a dumb shit. Turns away secularists, maybe? I think that might be a good way. Okay. All right, we're going to go live. I don't know when it starts. I'm just having to look at the live stream over here, and it's got a little thingy going. Hello and welcome to the live stream today. There is going to be a slight little pre-show topic about a big name not speaking at Reason Rally this year. So after this live stream ends, I highly suggest you going back to this video and watching what actually posts, because Facebook has a habit of posting whatever is done before you actually hit go live. So I'm trying to capitalize on that a little bit. But definitely after this posts, please go back and want to hear about what I'm talking about, because I not only talk about the person that's not going to be speaking, but who could possibly fill that position. But today, of course, we are going to be talking about some secularists that were turned away by a public accommodations business. And if you don't know what I mean, let's see, a Christian wedding venue owner in Illinois turned away a couple that wanted a non-religious ceremony. That's why I call them secularists, because they're wanting a non-religious. They don't want religion to be a part of their wedding ceremony. But now there are two aspects to this particular story. One is that let's see, the wife is Jewish and the husband is Christian, so it's a mixed faith marriage. And this guy, what he did was, I'm fairly certain that he knew very well what, what the marriage was going to be. That it was going to be a mixed faith. But he went ahead and cashed their deposit and everything, had everything set up, and decided to cancel days before the actual wedding was to occur. Please leave me your comments down below. I will be responding to and answering any questions or comments that you leave after I talk about this story. But let's see. The owner, he's the owner of, it's like the Stillman Inn in Galena. Now, you see, here's the other problem with it, is that you can't be a public business and turn away people, discriminate them based on religion. So this has nothing to do with them being LGBT or anything, because they're obviously not in the LGBT community. This is about mixed faith, and he's discriminating against them because of their religion. And if you run a public business, doing weddings and whatnot, and housing, all of that, providing that kind of service, you can't discriminate based on sex. Now, a lot of you out there, I know, want to say, well, he should be able to refuse service to anyone for any kind of reason, but you simply can't do that. Not with our current Constitution. If you want to do that, maybe you should hop in a TARDIS and go back to the 1950s and just fucking stay there. But what he said was, he just kept saying that he wouldn't allow it, that he would only do services that mention God or religion, which is fine, but, you can reserve that for a church, not an inn. Not a bed and breakfast. If that's going to be one of your main attractions for, your business, you need to provide service for everyone how the fuck ever you want to. So there's that. But let's see. Another aspect to this was that, I just think that it's kind of a dickish move to take their money and then just days before be like, nah, I don't think so. I only want to do it if it mentions God. So all in all, this guy, he's violating, the law and discriminating against them. And I understand if some of you don't think that it should be against the law, but like I said, just, go back to the 1950s. Because that's when you could segregate. That's when you could deny service for any fucking reason that you wanted to. And in the 50s, the most likely reason that you were doing that was because of somebody's race. And, I think that that's just ridiculous. Let's see. We have the default in the comments, KC. Good morning there, KC. Let's see, Rob Morale. He says, so I'm from Canada, and it sure seems like there is an ocean of bullshit that is happening in the U.S., which I'm wondering if I can actually screen cap his comment and put it on the... Nope, I can't, because, fuck Chrome. I suppose my question would be, how exactly does your Constitution allow for all these things to happen? Are states effectively fiefdoms under the complete control of its particular governor or equivalent? Find it all very confusing in a fundamental way. Okay, so this is actually a very good question, because not even Americans know how our government works. So basically, we have a federal government that connects all of our states together, that forms the United States, and we come under the the amendments and all of the provisions that the Constitution gives us. And the federal government does, and I would say in 99% of cases, the federal government, overshadows the states. But the states do have local governments and whatnot. They do have governors and everything, and the states can enact their own law. States' rights was a big thing during the Civil War. Of course, people were upset over the Abe Lincoln wanting to free the slaves and whatnot. And I don't think slavery was the biggest issue that was combated in that. But yeah. So you do have local governments, and a lot of issues are delegated to local governments. That's what the states' rights is about. The Civil War was fought because they felt like slavery shouldn't be like a federal issue; it should be on a state level issue. So basically, if the Confederate States had won, or if the federal government had sided with the states' rights on the slavery issue, you could have states today that enacted slavery. Like you could go to Mississippi and buy you a black person to, of course, you wouldn't be able to leave the state with them. You'd have to move to Mississippi, but who the fuck would want you back if you're going to buy people and use them as slaves? Um, but a lot of these laws that are being enacted are not actually constitutional. But if you have a whole local government that is pushing illegal laws that are against the federal constitution, like Mississippi has done, what it takes is somebody to stand up and bring a lawsuit or some kind of court case against the law, and it has to go to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court can rule it unconstitutional and force the states to change. That's what happened with the LGBT laws. So, if just as a brief rundown of how our federal government and local governments and laws kind of work here, that's how it works. The Supreme Court the Supreme Court decision can be overridden in very specific cases, cases in which 3/4 of the states or whatnot in the federal government overrule something that the Supreme Court has done, which is not an easy task to do, but has been done before in the past. Or the Supreme Court can overrule itself, that allows it to keep up with the current times, with our current understanding. And that's how the Constitution has been written. It's been written so that it can change with time and as we progress as a society. But see, the thing is that we have a lot of religious people now that are wanting to reinterpret the Constitution to say things that it doesn't mean. Like, for instance, that the First Amendment doesn't say that the church can't be integrated with the state, when in actuality it does. It provides a clear barrier between the church and the state so that one cannot affect the other, which is actually causing a whole lot of problems as far as the church is concerned, because basically we're giving bailouts to the churches here in America to the tune of like almost $80 billion a year. Yeah, I mean, we could have $80 billion extra in our budget if we just cut that shit out. But no, we want churches to survive so that they can fuck our little kids, right? Let's see. Tax the churches, Andrea Bryant says. The N quoted a law that doesn't exist. He's using religious bigotry to discriminate. Yeah, he is. He is using that. The only government I needs is my Jesus, Daniel Tarr. Let's see. Completely agree, Andrea. Yep, I agree too. I think that it definitely could be. It could be that. Let's see. ACLU is going to have something to say about this. Actually, they already have. They filed something. As far as the innkeeper goes, they have filed something against the innkeeper, so there is something being done. We just have to wait to see what happens. Yeah, weddings have paganistic roots anyways, so hypocrisy much? That's actually pretty true. And just a brief rundown of marriage history. Marriage initially began as a way to strengthen the relationship between tribes. The participants in the wedding didn't really have a say in who got married or whatnot. It was more of a business relationship, and that's pretty much how it continued until about the 1950s or so. I mean, in England, extramarital affairs were pretty common because, you had marriages that were business relationships. So while you were married, you still had people on the side that you actually wanted to be with. So there's a lot of history in there about marriage that goes contradictory to this whole idea of traditional marriage. Let's see. And And does that mean that without a direct challenge, anything goes legally? Well, possibly. Um, yeah, I would say so. I mean, like in Mississippi, I don't think that the law in Mississippi has been overturned yet. The law in Mississippi was pretty bigoted and, very religiously motivated. And if somebody doesn't step up, then it will continue. Like that will be the law in Mississippi. Um, and it had like the Supreme Court can't like challenge a law or anything like that. What the Supreme Court does, the Supreme Court takes a case and then reads the Constitution and see how the Constitution already provides for that case, and they make a ruling in the regards of that case only, like as to how the Constitution pertains to it. And so that's when you hear a lot of politicians saying that Supreme Court makes laws or makes a law or something like that. They actually don't. They make decisions on court cases as to whether or not the Constitution is in favor of one side or the other. And so when the Supreme Court makes that decision, then that's case law. And that's what that's another thing that our laws are bound by is case law. So if the Supreme Court strikes down this thing saying it's unconstitutional, then it's pretty much just like a domino effect for all the other laws. They're going to go back and pretty much going to have to redo it. That happened with the blue laws in Texas and whatnot. They weren't worded in a bigoted or targeted way against the LGBT community, but it was enforced in a way, and that is a way that laws can be discriminatory, can be turned into a discriminatory law, is how it's implemented and how it's enforced in the community. So yeah, I know I'm kind of scatterbrained about it, but I'm just replying to comments right now. Also, I know I just received a message about showing a comment. I didn't think about you guys not, because this is a public post and everything. I didn't really think about you guys not wanting to be on here, so I'm sorry about that if that's not what meant to be. I won't put Facebook comments on the video in the future, so be rest assured about that. That I'm not going to. I'm not going to do that. But unless you guys want to. But anyways, somebody sent me a screenshot of that comment, so I really appreciate that. But anyways, I hope that you guys have a wonderful day today. I've actually got to get to work. Started a little bit late today. This is my weekend with my son, and so I had to take him over to the babysitter's house and whatnot, which is a family member. And so yeah, I was running a little bit late. It's cool, bro. Thanks. Let's see. Andrea Bryant says marriage is a civil contract. That's why you can get married in courthouses, on ships, and a muck field if you want weddings or ceremonies. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I really appreciate everybody today coming on here and talking. Don't forget afterwards to go back to the very beginning of this video where I talk about a very prominent person that's not going to be speaking at Reason Rally, and who will be actually, or not who will be, but who I think should speak in their place. So do go back and look at that. I will see you guys later. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful Friday and a great weekend. There will be another live stream tomorrow at approximately 8 a.m. So there's a follow button that's up there. Follow my ass on these live streams if you want to get in on the commenting and with me responding to your questions and giving answers and whatnot. So yeah, I will see you guys later. Y'all have a nice Friday. All right, people, this is specifically for the YouTube channel. And let's see, I'm trying to find something to talk about here. I did see something. Let's see, and yeah, okay. So just because I actually want to get this. Let's see. Yes, let's see. In Archdale, North Carolina, officials in Jersey sponsorship program after businesses put Bible verses on their T-shirts. Wow. Let's see. The city provides shirts to 74 teams. Business sponsor team for free. Sponsors available to print on shirts. One nation under God. Wow. Let's see what they're saying. As you might guess, not everyone's happy with that move. It's never been a problem before, added Sean Green, youth volleyball coach in Archdale. They say they're worried about offending someone. Well, they've offended me now by telling me I can't put this on there. I think they violated our free speech. Let's see. They pay for it by working out arrangements with local businesses who cover the costs. Okay, so the city provides jerseys for sports teams, and they pay for it by working out arrangements with local businesses. If it's not violating your free speech to do it because the city, is providing a service. The city is providing something, and so you can't mix religion and government. And so it's not violating your free speech. They're just following what the Constitution says, and you're just trying to push a persecution narrative. Let's see, says a guy who doesn't understand how free speech works. Exactly, Hemet. Of course, Green assumes this wasn't a problem before. That's because they were advertising Christianity, not atheism or Hinduism or Satanism. The government isn't telling him he can't pray or worship as he pleases. They're simply telling him they won't be complicit in promoting religion. The city manager's mistaken understanding of these legal principles should be corrected, and all teams, including the sponsored by religious organizations, should be permitted to include logos and statements of their choice, said Richard Callahan, pastor. Well, no, they shouldn't be able to. If the city's providing the service, they shouldn't be able to put religious things on there. I mean, why do you have to put something religious on there? Why can't you just put your logo on there? Why does religion even have to come into it? Of course, I don't see churches being businesses exactly, although they should be. But the local businesses, they shouldn't bring religion into it at all, unless your business is religiously oriented and it's part of your logo. Like, for instance, at my child's school, they're sponsored by a bank that has In God We Trust on it. I highly oppose In God We Trust, as you guys know, but still, that's part of their logo, so I can't do anything about it. But yeah, so for me, this particular story seems to be like they're trying to figure out a way to make this into a persecution thing when it's really not. And yeah. So I hope you guys have a wonderful Friday. I will be talking to you guys tomorrow at my game stream in the morning on GE Plays. So I will see you guys later. Have a wonderful Friday.